Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Political Star Talk, an enlightened show about astrology, politics, and the betterment of our society. Join your hostesses Jennie, Sonya, and Sibyl for an hour in the stars. Today's topic, we're going to discuss the new moon and the energy that surrounds that, as well as the current political terrain. I have with me, as usual, the beautiful Sonya Spirit. How are you, Sonya?
I am very well, Jennie and Sibyl. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. And then we have the Sibyl, wonderful and beautiful Sibyl Star. Sibyl, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Jennie and Sonya. I'm really glad to be here. And like I said, I'm so grateful to the Skype gods that they're finally letting us do this.
It was giving us the grief the other day, but we are back on fighting the Skype gods, and they were gracious enough to let us go today. So the sound is perfect, and it sounds fantastic, and the connection is great. So I'm going to hand it over to Sibyl because last time we tried to record the show, she was on some hot topics, and it was just the internet wasn't cooperating. So I'm going to hand it back over to her. Sibyl, you want to go ahead and start wherever you think we should?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about what the stars are saying, kind of giving us an overview. And I guess there's something that I really want to say is that, just so you know, those of you who know anything about astrology, and I know many listening don't, but Aquarius is the sign of the rebel, the revolutionary, the heretic, and the iconoclast, and I have 5 planets there. So I am very much of a heretic, and I have no sacred cows, just so you know. And so I'm questioning everything. You know, there is just, and I've been a nurse for 40 years. I've been deep in the medical community, and I've seen what happens in the medical community. There is a consensus reality, and anybody who's not on board with that consensus reality is basically, kicked to the corner. And what is it they say? When truth happens, first you're laughed at, then you're attacked, and then it becomes known that it is truth. Well, we're in some places like that right now within our medical community. And I certainly don't want people to not trust their doctors, but I do want to say that the larger institution is very political, and it's very in bed with corporations, the government. I mean, it just is. And so the treatments they choose, the things they do, are not always based on what is really true, and there's also a lot of theories. And theories are true until they're proven untrue, and that's kind of the way it's always worked. And there are some theories that are really, holes are being poked in around germ theory, and probably many of you have been reading some of this. And so this is kind of what's been sitting in my heart. I just want to say that I'm holding hope, I'm holding trust, I'm sitting in my seat, and I'm also opening my eyes. So let's just start with the astrology. Okay, so that's just kind of where I'm at. So we've had the new moon in Taurus, which happened on Wednesday, on Earth Day, and so it does set the energy for the next 30 days. So I want to say the real foundation of this new moon is our connection with Mother Earth. And this morning, as I was really sitting in deep meditation to be prepared for this show, I was told emphatically to go out and hug a tree, to get grounded, to get centered. And that's where we need to be. And I saw that we're moving, the consciousness of Mother Earth is in process. The great turning is happening. The great awakening is coming, and we're moving. And yet, we need to be able to sit like that tree whose roots go deep down into the earth while the storm swirls around, and stay centered and not get thrown off through fear and panic, and to just hold that place of trust, okay, as we move through this. We have Pluto so strong right now. Pluto in Capricorn has just gone retrograde today. Pluto is conjunct the planet Jupiter and has been for a while and will be 3 times. Pluto is the deep underbelly of whatever sign it is in. It is showing us the corruption that lays at the core of it. And when it was into Sagittarius, it was showing us the corruption of the church, because Sagittarius has a lot to do with theology, religion, so on and so on. It's now in Capricorn, our governmental institutions, everything that is an institution, government, banking, finance, corporations, our medical institutions. It's showing us that basically the veil is falling off. The veil is falling off. And I believe one of the reasons that we are sitting still, Mom has us, and I call her Mom, that's Mother Earth, has us sitting still is so that we can see the truth as it's being unveiled. The question is always, will we believe it? Okay? And the other piece is with Pluto going retrograde, it's so much, as within, so without. What is going on in the outer world has been created by our own inner world. And when Pluto now being retrograde, it's really asking us to look into our own hearts. And I'm going to say one of the places it's asking us to look at is where we've given away our power. Just say, okay, it's okay, you do it. We don't question anymore. We're not looking. We don't care. We trust you, without doing our own homework. And then, then and there is that place of fear too. Fear gets triggered, and I did back in one of my other, I do many videos. One of my other videos, I talked about this Jupiter-Pluto conjunction being the possibility of, because it's also about strong leadership, and it's about power, and of a possible authoritarian response. And even Mars was involved, and I said there could even be a potential for martial law, and we're not in martial law, but it's pretty darn close. I've got 3 security guards guarding Whole Foods, I guess, to make sure I'm wearing a mask. I mean, I don't know, and I'm in California, and people do say it's more of a police state here than some other places, and it feels like that to me at times. I just want to be honest that the response has been so overreactive or intentional, and I don't know. I don't want to go into conspiracy theories here, but something isn't, and it's also, people are so much easier to control when they're afraid, and this is this, and so, but the other piece is to look at that place in our own hearts where we're carrying that fear, where we're carrying whatever it is we're carrying, whatever toxic emotions that we are carrying, it's manifesting in the outside world. So it's also our own cleanup job, and I think the piece now is really the fear, and understanding that fear actually secretes a hormone that makes ourselves weaker. Okay, and so it's like the Roto-Rooter job. Look within, so without, but open our eyes to the truth. That is the main thing about Pluto. Pluto always brings emotion. It brings honesty. It's like deep authenticity. And what are we really seeing? Let's just say, like I live here in California. In my community, which is Sonoma County, we've had 2 deaths, and we have 97 active cases. That does not sound like pandemic numbers to me, and as there are many doctors coming out saying now, that quarantining the healthy is actually preventing the, quote, herd immunity that we're wanting. So it's like questioning what is happening. And I'm going to say the other piece is the Jupiter piece. Jupiter has to do with our belief system. It has to do with our faith. Where are we putting our faith? And we are moving into a time where that is, okay, the nodes of the moon are changing, and I'll be talking more about that, but just a piece of it is that, okay, it is about the transformation of our belief systems. That's what it is. What do we believe? And so there can be cognitive dissonance if our beliefs do not, if what we're seeing is not lining up with what we're believing, okay? People are getting their news from the television set of what's happening in New York City. What is happening in your own, what is happening in your own neighborhood? Do you know people that are this sick? Is it more than the regular flu? There's so many doctors coming out now saying these numbers are just not higher than the regular flu, except in certain places like New York City, like Michigan, like Los Angeles. And those numbers are available. Yourself. Do your own research. Those numbers are available. CNN has the numbers. They have a place called Tracking COVID-19, and it has deaths per 100,000. Those are the comparative numbers. The figures for the deaths in California is 4 per 100,000. New York City is 100 per 100,000. That is a big difference, you know. And, you know, there's just so much going on. And it's just so important to remember that, you know, the CDC itself, it has an arm. Okay, the WHO, and you know, it's just, you know, we're moving into a time, and I really think Mom has us down. One, and Mother Earth. When I say Mom, I mean Mother Earth has us down. She wants us to be still. So it's both. On one hand, she wants us to be down still. So one, we can see what's really happening around us, how the pollution is clearing up, how the animals are coming back. And as the veil is falling, we have the time. We're not running around like, you know, like madmen all the time. So we have the time to look, to see, to do our own research, and to use our own critical thinking skills. Okay? The other piece is to do our own inner work, to really look at how we're plugged into, how where we get plugged in, and, you know, to this fear matrix, to this fear factor, okay? And to know that it is love that is our shield. It is love, it is compassion, it is forgiveness. I know I feel like I am a messenger, and I have had to learn to not be attached to the response that I get when I share information, and that people can only hear information when it comes from a place of love, not from anger. And I've had to work through a lot of my own anger, and I have recognized that in me, when I'm afraid, the anger comes up, you know, and so I'm really looking at my own patterns of where I am plugging in, and to come from that place of being centered, grounded, connected to Mother Earth, and coming from a place of trust and of peace, you know, to be able to present what is coming through. But this is what's happening, there is the, I know, this is a good one. I listened to Dr. Tom Cowan, and by the way, there's incredible information out there that is really questioning the medical narrative, you know, of what is happening. And I'm just going to share that many are saying, microbiologists, molecular biologists, different scientists, medical researchers, doctors, the information is just really out there if you seek it. That is what is actually happening, is that we're being poisoned. It's a poisoning from within and a poisoning from without, okay? And that this is what is happening, you know, all of the different carbon poisons, the chemicals, you know, the petrochemical industry is closely aligned with our medical community, because the only way they treat anything is with medicines that come out of the petrochemical companies, you know. So, gosh, now I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, I know. Yes. So coming from a place of peace, and to also know we are actually shifting our nature of our understanding of our nature of reality, because we are moving from a place of Newtonian physics, which is about the body as a machine, the only thing that's real is what's in the material world, to the quantum physics as our consensus reality, a consensus for the one of the bases of our consensus reality is that it is more energetic. So we are in this shift as well, and this is what is happening. And the old do not want to give it up. They are not willing to let in the new information, because there's